Victoria Island. The land of glass buildings, luxury cars, powerful meetings, and silent pressure. People see the lights. They don't see the struggle behind the lights. This is the story of two young lovers who came to Victoria Island with nothing but belief. Tunde and Amara were not born into wealth. They had no rich uncles, no connections in high places, no family houses in Lekki or Banana Island. They met during NYSC in Lagos. Tunde was quiet but determined. Every night he watched YouTube tutorials on graphic design, teaching himself skills he couldn't afford to learn in school. Amara loved fashion and branding. She had vision. She could look at something ordinary and imagine it extraordinary. One night, sitting by a roadside suya spot, they looked toward the distant skyline of Victoria Island. One day, Tunde said confidently, "We will have our own office there." Amara smiled and teased him. "With working air conditioning?" "With 2 air conditioners," he replied. They laughed. But deep down, they believed it. After service year, instead of returning to their hometowns, they made a bold decision. They moved into a tiny self-contained apartment in Lekki Phase 2. The room was small. 1 mattress. 1 plastic table. 2 plastic chairs. That was all. Every morning by 5 a.m., they prayed together. Then Tunde would wear his only good shirt and take a bus to Victoria Island, searching for work. He submitted CV after CV. "Leave it with us. We'll call you. We need someone with more experience." Days became weeks. Weeks became months. No job. Meanwhile, Amara worked at a small boutique earning barely enough for transport and food. They were surviving, but only just. Then one evening the landlord knocked. Hard. "Your rent is due next week." "I don't want stories." When the door closed, silence filled the room. The air felt heavy. Amara finally asked the question both of them were afraid to say. "What if we go back home?" Tunde felt the weight of that question. It felt like defeat knocking. "Did we come here to run?" he asked quietly. She shook her head. "Then we fight," he said. The next day, under the hot Lagos sun, Tunde sat on a bench in Victoria Island watching well-dressed professionals walk into corporate buildings. For the first time, instead of feeling small, he felt challenged. "If they can build something here," he whispered, "why can't we?" That evening he told Amara, "Let's stop looking for jobs. Let's create one." "With what capital?" she asked. He smiled. "With what we know." They borrowed a friend's old laptop. Used free Wi-Fi from a cafe in Victoria Island. Created an Instagram page offering affordable logo designs and branding for small businesses. The first week, nothing. Second week, 1 message. 20,000 Nigerian nairas. It felt like a miracle. They celebrated with street food and thanked God like they had received millions. Slowly, small businesses started contacting them. Hair vendors. Small fashion brands. Online stores. They worked late into the night, sometimes until 3 a.m., perfecting designs. Then a client refused to pay after delivery. Another insulted their work. Discouragement entered their home. Stress created arguments. One night during a heated moment, Amara said, "Are we chasing something too big for us?" Tunde responded sharply, "Do you want to quit?" Silence filled the room again. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I don't want to quit on us," she whispered. That sentence changed everything. They realized the real investment was not money. It was unity. Just when momentum started building, a so-called investor approached them through a mutual friend. He promised to fund their business. He asked for presentations, strategies, design concepts. They worked tirelessly preparing everything. Weeks later, he disappeared. Soon after, they discovered he launched a similar company using ideas they had shared. It broke Tunde's heart. He felt betrayed. Amara was furious. For days they barely spoke. Then one evening, Amara looked at him and said, "He stole the idea, not the ability." That one sentence brought Tunde back to life. They went back to work. No investor. No backup. Just determination. One afternoon at a cafe in Victoria Island, Tunde was passionately explaining branding strategy to Amara while they worked. A woman sitting nearby overheard them. She was the CEO of a fast-growing skincare company. She asked to see their portfolio. 2 days later, she called. "We want you to handle our complete rebranding." The contract was worth more money than they had ever seen at once. They stared at each other in shock. Then they cried. Right there in public. That contract changed everything. They reinvested every naira. Better laptops. Professional photos. Small shared office space in Victoria Island. Clean branding. Structured processes. Word spread. More startups came. Referrals increased. Their small operation grew into a real company. 3 years later, they moved into their own office space in Victoria Island. Glass doors. Beautiful interior. Working air conditioning. On the door was written, "Talk Creative Group." The same streets that once ignored them now respected them. The same area that made them feel small now made them proud. One evening, after closing work early, Tunde took Amara to a rooftop overlooking Victoria Island. The skyline glowed under the sunset. He looked at her and said, "We built this together. Will you keep building forever with me?" She didn't hesitate. Yes. Their wedding was not just a celebration of love. It was a celebration of resilience. Years passed. Their company expanded. They hired young graduates who reminded them of themselves. They started mentoring struggling entrepreneurs. They launched a foundation offering free branding support for small businesses who couldn't afford professional help. They never forgot the cafe Wi-Fi days. They never forgot the landlord's knock. They never forgot the tears. Victoria Island did not make them successful. Character did. Unity did. Persistence did. Today, when young couples ask them the secret, they say this: love is not just emotion. It is partnership. Dreams are not achieved by wishful thinking. They are achieved by stubborn belief and consistent action. If you feel behind in life, if you feel rejected, if doors keep closing, remember this story. Every skyscraper in Victoria Island began as a drawing on paper. Every successful business began as an idea in someone's heart. And every great love survived pressure. Tunde and Amara came with nothing. But they refused to leave empty. And one day, when you walk through your own Victoria Island moment, you will realize something powerful. You were not delayed. You were being prepared. And that preparation was your greatest blessing.